The Atlantic stretches wide off the coast of Rhode Island. 9 miles offshore, a small island rises from the water, quiet, windswept, and surprisingly untouched. But here's the question. What if I told you there's an American island where 250-foot clay cliffs guard 17 miles of beaches, where Victorian mansions outnumber chain stores, and where even the height of summer somehow still feels like a private retreat? Welcome to Block Island. Small, windswept, and quietly loyal to its own rhythm. For generations, this island has served as New England's understated offshore escape, a place where the Atlantic shapes daily life, where historic homes watch over quiet harbors, and where the pace of the mainland seems to fade with every mile of ocean. But behind its peaceful reputation lies a deeper story, a place shaped by maritime survival, battered by storms and shipwrecks, a place where families have returned for generations, protecting its quiet character, and a place where nature still draws the boundaries. Wind turbines spin over rolling hills, wild bluffs crumble slowly into the sea, and the horizon always feels just a little farther away. This is the island that locals rarely rush to advertise, because part of its magic is how little it tries to be noticed. Block Island, Rhode Island's quietest retreat, and the reason so many who discover it keep coming back. Geography that demands ferries. To understand Block Island, you have to start with the land itself, or more accurately, the rock left behind by glaciers. The island is only about 3.5 miles wide and 7 miles long, a narrow stretch of rolling hills rising from the Atlantic. Geologists call it a terminal moraine, a ridge of sand, clay, and stone pushed south by the last Ice Age glaciers and abandoned when the ice retreated thousands of years ago. That glacial past carved one of the island's most dramatic landmarks, the towering walls of Mohegan Bluffs. More than 200 feet of clay cliffs plunge sharply into the Atlantic below, their rust-red faces slowly eroding under wind and waves. From the top, the view stretches endlessly across the open ocean. It's beautiful and a little intimidating. But the island isn't just cliffs and crashing surf. Tucked into the center lies a calm natural harbor, Great Salt Pond, a sheltered inlet where sailboats rock gently and ferries glide into dock. Nearby, another surprise appears, Sachem Pond, a rare freshwater pond surrounded by quiet fields and migrating birds. It's a reminder that despite the Atlantic on all sides, parts of this island feel almost inland. But the geography does something else too. It creates distance, because unlike many coastal destinations, Block Island has no bridge connecting it to the mainland. To get here, you have to cross open water. Most visitors arrive by ferry from Narragansett or New London, a ride that takes about 55 minutes, long enough for the mainland to fade behind you. Or, if you're in a hurry, a tiny plane from Westerly can land on the island's short runway in just 12 minutes. Either way, the journey does something important. It filters the crowds. Because reaching Block Island requires intention. You don't accidentally end up here. And maybe that's why the island feels a little different from its more famous New England neighbors. In fact, some visitors joke it's what Martha's Vineyard might feel like if it required fewer reservations. Mohegan Bluffs, cliffs carved by storms. On the southern edge of Block Island, the land doesn't slope gently into the sea. It drops. The towering clay walls of Mohegan Bluffs rise more than 200 feet above the Atlantic, their red and brown layers revealing thousands of years of glacial history. From the top, waves crash far below, and the horizon stretches uninterrupted toward Europe. But the real journey begins when you start the descent. A narrow wooden staircase, built more than 150 years ago, winds down the face of the cliffs. 141 steps, each one bringing the ocean closer. The wind grows louder. Salt fills the air. And at the bottom, a quiet stretch of beach opens beneath the towering bluffs.
Looking back up, the cliffs feel almost impossibly tall. Standing guard above them is one of the island's most recognizable landmarks, Block Island South Light.
Built in 1873, the red brick lighthouse has guided ships past the island's dangerous shoals for more than a century, but even it wasn't immune to the power of the Atlantic. By the early 1990s, relentless erosion had brought the cliff's edge dangerously close.
So in 1993, engineers did something remarkable. They moved the entire lighthouse back from the brink, sliding the massive structure inland to save it from falling into the sea. Because the ocean here has always been unforgiving. More than 150 shipwrecks are believed to rest in the waters surrounding Block Island, victims of fog, reefs, and sudden storms. On calm days, fragments of old wreckage sometimes appear in the surf below the bluffs, reminders that this coastline has never been easy to navigate, and the cliffs themselves never stop changing. Each winter, powerful nor'easters pound the shoreline. Chunks of clay collapse, the edges shift. Nature quietly edits the landscape, year after year.
Yet in the evening, when the wind softens and the sun drops toward the horizon, the mood changes completely. The long staircase empties, the beach grows quiet, and the towering cliffs glow warm in the golden light. For a moment, it feels almost private, as if the Atlantic set aside this hidden stretch of sand just for those willing to climb down and find it.
Maritime legends, wild shores, and the island's hidden trails. The history of Block Island isn't just written in old buildings. It's written in storms, shipwrecks, and the sea itself. Long before summer visitors arrived, the island already carried a difficult past.
In 1637, during the turmoil surrounding the Pequot War, members of the Mohegan community led by Uncas were exiled to the island. The wind-swept land that would later become a vacation refuge once served as a place of displacement and survival.
But it was the Atlantic that would shape the island's reputation most dramatically. The waters surrounding Block Island are notoriously treacherous. Fog rolls in quickly, shoals hide just beneath the surface. And during the 19th century, sailing vessels navigating these waters often paid the price.
Off the shores of Manning's Beach, schooners once splintered against reefs and sandbars during violent storms. Fragments of those wrecks occasionally surface in the shallows, even today. To protect passing ships, a powerful guardian was built overlooking the cliffs, Block Island South Light. For generations, its beam warned mariners away from danger. And like many coastal lights, it faced a threat not from the sea, but from the land beneath it. Erosion steadily ate away at the cliffs. By the late 20th century, the lighthouse stood dangerously close to the edge. But instead of abandoning it, engineers performed an extraordinary rescue, moving the entire structure inland to safety. It survived, one of the last remaining sentinels from a time when as many as 55 lighthouses once dotted the coast of Rhode Island. And today, those same waters that wrecked ships now attract a different kind of explorer. Scuba divers searching the seabed for centuries-old wrecks hidden beneath the waves. But not every story here lies underwater, because the island's coastline is surprisingly generous. Despite its small size, Block Island offers 17 miles of public shoreline, wide crescent beaches, quiet coves, and long stretches of sand where the Atlantic feels almost untouched. Surfcasters wade into the rolling waves at sunset, hoping for a strike from one of the Atlantic's most prized catches. In winter, another visitor appears along the sandbars: seals. Large groups haul themselves onto quiet beaches to rest in the cold sun. And they tend to make one thing very clear: they are not interested in sharing beach space. Visitors spread towels across the dunes at Crescent Beach. Cyclists pause beside the historic lawns near Mansion Beach, and families gather along the quieter waters of Fred Benson Town Beach. For fishermen, these shores are famous for something else: striped bass. Just offshore, another landmark quietly changed the island's future.
In 2016, 5 massive turbines rose from the sea, forming the Block Island Wind Farm, the first offshore wind farm in the United States.